Good evening, Rams. I'm Kenneth Frederick, joined here by presidential candidates John and David. Would you please introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit about your campaign?
Yeah, sure, I'd love to. Hey everyone, my name is John Williamson. He, him, his pronouns. A little bit extra about me. I've had 3 semesters as a senator in ASCSU, 2 for the Undeclared Leadership Council, and 1 with APAC.
Hi, I'm David Pringle. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm currently a junior in civil engineering. I have no history with ASCSU, so I feel like I could just bring a lot to the floor just on the behalf of students who aren't in this organization.
Awesome. What are kind of the talking points of your guys' campaign?
Yeah, definitely. So one of our key things is we feel that students need more representation in student organizations. COVID has taken away a lot of the opportunities students have had to engage with the community and has severely affected a lot of the campus organizations, especially with fundraising. What our campaign wants to do is we want to be able to use student fees for student-funded events that can act as fundraisers for student organizations and students alike. We also want to bring some scholarships options available to students. These would be $500 scholarships available to students regardless of GPA who are engaged in extracurricular activities, who may be struggling financially or may not have the time to otherwise participate because of work. So those are some of the talking points that we'd like to address.
Awesome. And David, you kind of talked about it when you said you bring somewhat of an outside perspective to the ASCSU. What other kind of aspects, or what do you think you guys bring to the table that other candidates do not?
Well, being outside of ASCSU and always want to be a part of it, I feel like I can bring sort of a welcoming face to this, because most people are afraid to get into ASCSU, like I was, just being the fact that they don't know how to get in. They feel like it's kind of just an exclusive club just for people that are born into it in a sense. And I feel like it's not. Just being a part of this candidacy, and I feel like I can just bring a portion of inclusion to all the students around, especially maybe the outsiders, or they feel like outsiders.
Awesome. What do you feel like you bring to the table?
Like David said, ASCSU has a history of sometimes being a hostile organization that not a lot of students are comfortable going to. What David and I want to do is bring a level of inclusion to ASCSU. We personally don't like all the formalities of ASCSU and how it is sometimes dissuading to a lot of students from different backgrounds. We want to make sure that ASCSU has representation from all over campus. And you don't need experience in ASCSU to join ASCSU. We want everyone to understand that. David has almost no experience with ASCSU, yet he's running for vice president. We want you to go out and engage with campus. We want you to feel included. We don't want you to feel that you don't have a place in ASCSU, because ASCSU is meant for you.
Awesome. What promises do you guys have for students regarding the spending of student fees, which is a massive area in the ASCSU?
Yeah, student fees are an issue that have come up every single year. As some of you may know, a lot of your student fees actually aren't even spent each year. We want to make sure that student fees are actually spent in productive and efficient ways that help student organizations, ways that help students. We want to make sure that what we offer as a candidate ticket is a way that your student dollars can work for you, that can help fund other programs, that can help fundraising, that can have events that students actually want to attend. Something that we want to do with student fees and funds is to have big fundraisers that are fun, that are student events, that's student-centered, that can bring the CSU community together with the Fort Collins community to include everyone and to help raise funds for the clubs who may not have had the opportunity to fundraise because of COVID.
Awesome. And one big issue that's come up in campaigns a lot in previous years is the issue of transparency. Would you say that transparency is a goal of your campaign? And if so, how would you work to achieve it?
Yeah, transparency is definitely a huge part of any campaign, we believe. Transparency is the cornerstone of trust. If you don't have trust and people do not trust you, there's nothing you can do. Dave and our goal is to have a cabinet team who doesn't necessarily agree with us, but are willing to work with us. We want people to understand that we are open to criticism. We are open to taking what you have to say and telling you what we feel and how we feel. And we're going to be very truthful with you on every level of engagement.
And kind of going back into inclusion, and we just don't want to be that separate part of CSU of how students feel like they can't get in for any reason whatsoever. That's why we're just really focused on student participation in our campaign, because we do want that criticism. We do want to know what people want from CSU. So we're just really open to any possibilities that any student, whether they're seniors or freshmen, their concerns, we would love to hear them.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
You two are elected. Tell me about what are your biggest plans or goals?
Our first goal would to be to create a cabinet team that is diverse in every single sense of the word. We want people from different backgrounds, from different levels of experience, and we don't want them to completely agree with us. We want them to be able to work with us, because we feel a foundation is the biggest part of any campaign. If we don't have the people to work with us to create our promises and bring them to life, there's nothing we can really do. Our biggest goal is to make sure that we have the people in place to do the right thing for the students for the right reasons. And that would be our biggest goal right there, and that's our first goal. From there, we would continue to build off of our promises. We want students to be more engaged. We want to create those scholarship opportunities for students so they can continue to be engaged. We want to create those fundraising events so students, organizations have more money to help more students, to include more people, and to reach out to more people.
Yeah, with ASCSU being mostly business majors, we hope to reach out to those other majors throughout the campus to get their inputs, because the school shouldn't be just ran by business majors. Like, they have a bunch of good ideas. They are really good at finance, like their major entails, but we want to know what other majors think, like graphic design and structural and engineering. We want to know what they think. Just because it is mostly run by business, most people think that it's just for business major, when in reality it's for everybody.
Exactly, and like David said, we don't want a certain demographic to represent the entire school. CSU is one of the most diverse places I've ever been to. And we want to keep ASCSU following that similar track. We don't want a single organization to have all the power. We want you to have the power to speak and have your voices heard.
Awesome. Do you two have any last words? Anything else you would like to add to this interview?
Personally, I would like to thank every single person who's helped us in our campaign so far. Your support means a lot to us, and we couldn't be here without you and your support. We're going to ask you for your continued support. We have a campaign Instagram page, which will be having consistent updates about our campaign, our policies, and promises. If you'd like to be engaged with our campaign, please follow it. It's David and John 2021 on Instagram. If you are interested in joining our campaign team, please shoot me a message, email, Teams message if I'm in one of your classes, or anything like that. And just thank you so much for having us here. Kenny, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for coming.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, Rams, for more election coverage, you can stay tuned to CTV 11 as more happens.